Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Mason of TJHKV, and I'm here right now with my friend James, or...
AKA Stressed.
Yep, and we are bringing you the second part of this little podcast dealio. We don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet, but...
Still trying to work on that name.
Yeah. But here's the analysis portion of the lower level game. This is actually a platinum game between Ahsoka, the red Zerg, and Toxicity, the blue Zerg. So it looks like they're both going to send their overlords in the wrong direction first.
Of course. Gotta check out that close air spawn. I mean, it's so worthwhile.
Except for the fact that Ahsoka went close by ground with their overlord, but I'm not going to...
Yeah, close by ground. My bad. My bad.
No, they're doing it wrong. Toxicity's doing right.
It looks like Ahsoka is actually kind of going around hunting with this drone fairly early, in my opinion. Normally, me personally, I send my drone out right around my pool timing.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I do my overlord on 9. So what I actually do with my drone is my 10th drone. Oh wait, first check this out. Toxicity going for the 13 gas.
Yep, going for that very early gas. It looks like he's scouting with that drone. There will not be a pool just yet.
There will be in just a moment. They're saving up their minerals and they're going to throw down their pool on 13 as well. But what I like to do with my drone, since I do my overlord on 9, my 10th drone, I'll go ahead and hotkey it to 2, and I'll go ahead and rally that towards the enemy base. And as you see, the pool already going down here by Toxicity. Yep,
and it looks like Ahsoka's just getting that scout off. That drone's like just kind of hanging out.
Hatch first on 15. And so they opted for the hatch first.
Yep, Ahsoka doing that 15. That was a 15 hatch, correct?
Yep, and this could be really dangerous for Ahsoka if Toxicity puts on a bunch of pressure, which he easily could as soon as that comes out, because I just want you to watch his, unless he mistimed it, his money should hit 100 as soon as, it seems like he mistimed it. In the next game, though, I think we see the same build.
Oh, wait, it's right here. It's right here.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
Just a little bit over on the money.
He pulled out on 100.
Yep. Yeah. Very nice. He pulled out on exactly 100. That was very, very nice timing. We can see that he's making a pair of Zerglings, probably to take the Zelnaga and scout around Ahsoka's base. We can also see the spawning pool going down on, that was probably 16, 17, 15? Was that a 15 pool?
I think it was 15 pool.
Okay,
It went up a while back. Okay. But, and it looks like Toxicity was supply blocked for a little while there, and his speed is on the way, building a few Zerglings, getting his first queen out. You do have to delay the queen a bit with the hatch first build, which kind of...
Yeah, Ahsoka has just finished his natural and is now getting spine crawlers. Looks like he's a little nervous from some aggression from Toxicity, which is very, very well and good, because it looks like Toxicity is headed with 4 lings to scout and poke at Ahsoka's base a little bit.
It's like Toxicity is building their spine crawler right next to Ahsoka's.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh, going straight for the natural with the spine crawler by Toxicity.
Looks like it's even going to get the cancel. No, that was something he could really work on right there. He didn't even get the cancel on his spine crawler, which he really needs to do. And it looks like the spine crawler it might go up, because it looks like the speed is just now finished too from Toxicity. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he has a big advantage right now.
We can see a huge swell of Zerglings for this early game to deal with the spine crawler, and it's looking like Ahsoka's natural might fall.
Yeah, that's definitely a big danger right now, and it looks like they're going to try to move in and take out the spine crawler. But the thing is that it's got rooted down in time, and he had some more Zerglings to reinforce, so it should live. And it looks like he's going to go try to pick up the spine crawler, and is he going to do it? He has more lings spawn right then, and he's going to put it down.
Well, the natural has been saved, and he is pumping out 16 Zerglings. In such an early part of the game, with such a low threat, now that spine crawler is gone, there is really no need for this huge swell of Zerglings we're seeing from Ahsoka.
Yep, and Toxicity is actually, they're missing a few injects here and there. And notice how Ahsoka doesn't even have gas yet.
Oh, Ahsoka hasn't put down any gas. He's just going. Oh, we can see a baneling nest coming down from. Oh, a baneling nest and a macro hatch by Toxicity.
I don't know why he wouldn't make that expansion.
He's going for a macro hatch before expand? What in the fuck is going on here, KB?
I don't even know, man. This is a platinum game, but it looks like, ooh, really good move there by Ahsoka, moving their queen even off the creep to get those overlords. You can actually, despite the new patch where overlords are even faster, you can still catch overlords with off of creep queens.
We can see a big swell of zerglings coming from Toxicity, headed straight for Ahsoka's base. Looks like they're just gonna.
Prepared.
Oh, and he's morphing in banelings. Ahsoka could be in a lot of trouble right here. He doesn't have the defense for this. He's going to have to micro his Zerglings very, very well against these banelings.
And it looks like we actually do have the expansion going down behind this aggression, which, of course, did really good.
Very, very good move by Toxicity.
So,
and it looks like Ahsoka is just now getting that first gas geyser.
They have their second queen about to go up right when the Zerglings come in. So hopefully we'll see if it can survive or not. He's actually, oh, I thought he was accidentally taking the spine crawlers with his army. And it looks like he's going to try to pick off the spine crawlers, but he still has the banelings hidden. So Ahsoka still has no clue about those banelings unless he saw them with an overlord. And it looks like he's going to see right now, hit one, and he has seen the banelings.
He has seen the banelings, and he knows and what kind of deep shit he is in now. And the banelings are moving up. Oh, he's got to be very, very careful of that queen. He can't afford to snipe this early in the game. That's going to set him back really, really bad. And Toxicity running the banelings into his main. I think he's going to go for the workers.
And
he pulls drones.
What is it going to be? Yeah, there goes the drone pull right there. And he's he's actually doing pretty good with him. Detonate him! No! What is he doing?
Toxicity, no! What are you doing?
He missed his chance.
Oh, nope. He got that chance back.
Ow.
Takes down all but, what is that, 5, including gas at his main?
Yeah.
Ahsoka just got crushed back down.
He is so far in workers. Because right now Toxicity is on 19 workers. And whoa, huge swell of workers right there from Toxicity.
Yep, we can see 6 drones, 14 Zerglings, a Roach Horn, and an Evo Chamber going down for Toxicity. So it looks like I'm thinking just a very, very aggressive +1 Roachling Baneling.
Thing is, he's still behind on his drones though, and it looks like the second gas going up for Toxicity. So, and the Roach Horn as well. So he's going to be trying to go for that Roach play. And we're going to see how that works out for him. But he has been missing a few injects. His queens are on a bit high energy, even for the inject almost being finished.
There it is.
Same with Ahsoka.
The +1 missile attacks coming down from Toxicity as well as a lair. So I'm guessing he's going for Roach speed kind of build, or maybe transition into mutas? I'm kind of at a loss for what Toxicity and Ahsoka are going for at this very moment, but we can also see 2 Evo Chambers going down for Ahsoka, so he's definitely getting dim upgrades.
And also his speed is just finishing right now. As soon as the Zerglings come in his base, Toxicity couldn't have picked the worst time to attack because, well, actually he doesn't have any lings. Oh, there he has a few.
He has a very, very small group of Zerglings,
but they have speed now. So.
And he's got the 2-3 spines at the natural to hold them off. I think that's a little overbuilt, but no worries. We can see +1 carapace and melee attacks going down for Ahsoka.
Sorry to interrupt, but look at the drone count. Look, Toxicity just just picked it up. But before that, Toxicity was on 26 drones, and Ahsoka was so far ahead. He just reproduced his drones, and it was really effective.
We can see Toxicity is taking both gases at his natural right now. Ahsoka is just now taking his 3rd gas.
So
no. Ahsoka's only taking his 2nd gas. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know.
But Toxicity is way behind as far as economy goes. We're up 43 drones for Ahsoka, 35 for Toxicity.
Despite that, he is going to be going for something Mutalisks or Infestors, whatever it is. And it looks like the lair's finally coming out for Ahsoka. It seems he's behind on all of his tech, but he's so far ahead on drones. And just look at the massive amount of Zerglings in his base. He has 2 full pages of them.
Yeah, just going crazy, and it looks like
Oh, just a few banelings that could actually destroy nearly his entire army.
Oh my god, 2 huge baneling bombs go off, take down the back half of that Zergling army. Oh, watch it, watch it.
Ahsoka has to be really careful here. He's trying to thin in the Zerglings to take out the, just a few Zerglings to take out the banelings, and it looks like it wasn't necessarily effective.
Ooh, no, he got...
And, now there are 2 more really good baneling detonations. Now
I would really say Toxicity came out cost effective for that battle. We could see a Spire going down for Toxicity. Where is this Spire? Hello, where? Okay, found you.
Right next to the patch.
It looks like we could either see fast Broodlord, or if he decides to grab his Hive Tech, or it looks like he may just be going for that old school Mutaling play, but he's also producing roaches at the same time. Do these players know what's going on?
I don't know, man. But that's what we're looking at here. Their builds. The thing is, Toxicity is going for a sort of build everything build, which isn't necessarily what you want. Ahsoka is actually going to help me prove right here, it looks, that you don't need to tech.
Yeah, no,
now,
really.
Actually, look, really good positioning here by the roaches.
We can
because
see
he's walling off with the roaches, and he's going to put them on hold position. So whenever Ahsoka decides to attack in there, he's going to just be put to an immediate stop.
We can see 30 more roaches coming out of Ahsoka, as well as a third, and his +2 melee attacks, as well as his +2 carapace. The Spire is almost finished for Toxicity. We can see another hatch going down, a macro hatch going down for Ahsoka. Looks like he's really wanting to pump out dim lanes.
Already has the macro hatch. He's getting his third now. But it looks like he's moving in on the natural with his lings. And the big important thing here is that he doesn't have anything beyond this to stop it. He's building Mutalisks, but Mutalisks can try to kill the Zerglings, but they cannot stop them. They can't get in their way of attacking anything like other lings or roaches can.
Yeah.
So they're free to just attack the drones until they die. So but oh my gosh, is he gonna get this? Oh, he's gonna get this.
Ahsoka is just running rampant through Toxicity's base, and there's nothing he can do. He's trying to get out some Zerglings, but this
is exactly why you don't want to build everything. He was behind on his economy, which is what we talked about earlier. Economy has become such a massive thing in the ZvZ. And then he even, he got his +1 missile attack for Zerg, and then hardly used it. And now he's just tearing apart his drones. They're just being ripped to shreds. Toxicity now on 19 drones. His economy is so down. And, you know,
I'm expecting a GG here soon from Toxicity. There is really not a lot he can do at this point. He is just too far behind, and there's too many Zerglings. I mean, Ahsoka is running 3 bases plus a macro hatch and still getting his upgrades. And there is just nothing Toxicity can do to stop these Zerglings just from running wild.
And now Ahsoka, even behind this pressure, even though he has the Mutalisks pinned in his base, he's still being careful, making sure just in case it fails. Always got to have a backup plan. He's building those spore crawlers.
Yeah, he just planted, what, 5 spore crawlers in his main. Are there any more sitting around? There's 3 sitting behind and around his natural mineral line.
He's covering really well.
Just going hard with those spore crawlers.
Meanwhile, back in the base, there's not much to, you know, talk about. He's chasing down the drones, getting all the kills that he can. But the thing is that, you know, you're going to look at this and think Ahsoka was really all in. He's just moving all his units in again and again and again. Well, think about it. You get 2 units for about, for 50 minerals.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's
and he's doing enough damage to where they're being even more cost-effective than Zerglings should really ever be.
And then, yeah, and exactly. And now look at the production tab. Infestation Pit and Drone. He's not at all in. He's just building a reasonable army, and he's going in, and he's being extremely cost-effective with it.
Extremely good aggression coming from Ahsoka. Why Toxicity isn't taking these Mutalisks and trying to put some pressure back on Ahsoka, I'm not quite sure. Because these Mutalisks, if put directly onto one of his mineral lines, could really rein in Ahsoka.
Yeah, I was trying to do the mental math here, but I think the game's coming too close to an end to do the mental math for how much 2 pages of Zerglings, which is about how much he's sending every time. cost, but it's fairly cheap because one page is only like 24 Zerglings, and it's 50 minerals for 2. So he's going to go in and he's going to check that out, see what his base is looking like. And it looks like Toxicity's about to stabilize while Ahsoka's getting his 4th. But then again, there's just the massive lings just coming up, knocking on his front door again. And it's only a matter of time before they just kill him.
Yeah, and we can also see, what is it, 54 more Zerglings coming out of Ahsoka.
Oh, sick Baneling detonation there. Ahsoka may be extremely far ahead, but he wants to be as effective as possible.
Yeah, very, very good play from both of these players. Toxicity was just, a little bit of bad manners coming in. What a lucky fucking prick, he says. And I'd say that's about the beginning of the end for Toxicity, because, you know, when name calling gets thrown around.
This right here, though, streaking through the middle, there's nothing that you can do about it, unless he stops and decides to get killed.
Oh, and Toxicity says, suck my dick, and leaves the game. God damn, this really is some low league play.
That's platinum for you.
Oh, Jesus. That was actually a really good replay.
It was really entertaining, but they went for sort of really odd builds.
Yeah, it was very unstructured, but there was a lot of very good key aspects to it. Ahsoka played more or less flawlessly, in my opinion. I mean, he won the game without building anything more than Zerglings.
And that's all you ever really need in a ZvZ, unless it gets extremely late game and you're just at a draw. I've won several games with a hatch first, with the exact same build he actually used. And it's just, except instead of droning up, I'll normally just use the second hatch for an all-in, basically as a macro hatch, but it's at my expansion. And I'll just go for a 6 Zergling all-in, and they'll go for roaches, they'll go for banelings. All you need to win a ZvZ is Zerglings. Now, that's not to say you 6 pool or 7 pool, but Speedlings...
You can hold off so much with Speedlings in the beginning.
Yeah, and then all you need is the Evolution Chamber, which you're probably going to have anyways for upgrades. And you're going to be completely good, because then you can just dot those things around your base. And the reason I like not having to tech in ZvZ is because roaches are, they're very strong, but their melee attack isn't nearly as strong. And even though they may be tanky, it's way too easy for them to get surrounded. And the key thing, they're much more expensive.
Yeah, so, and we can... Not to interrupt, but I was just looking at the units lost tab. Ahsoka lost 340 units, and that translates to about 9k resources. Then we look at Toxicity. He only lost 159, but lost 9.4k resources. That just goes to show how cost-effective Ahsoka was being, even with just sending Zerglings in there, just left and right, and losing them all. There's such a low-tech, cheap unit that he can afford to do that. I mean, he was running 3 bases, plus a macro hatch, upgrades, speed, everything, as well as being defensive with the spore crawlers, and still came out ahead in cost-effectiveness.
Definitely. And you don't even have to be hyper aggressive with links. You can chill around the middle of the map, and all you have to do is just use them to secure your expansions, and you can expand like a wild. You see Ahsoka right here, his 4th nearly finished, and he was on 3 fully saturated bases. But I mean, Ahsoka's build came across really late. He didn't get his gas until really late. He didn't get his speed, of course, because he didn't have his gas, until much later on.
Yeah, he could have played. He could have played.
Yeah, go on.
He could have played those gases a lot faster and just kind of got his tech out sooner. I'm sorry for interrupting you right there, but yeah, I'm just wanted to point out that you can look at his 3rd and his natural. Do you notice something weird about them?
What about them? Neither of them have gas.
Yeah, he only took 2 gases that entire game, and was still able to get +2 melee attacks, +2 carapace, as well as his Zergling speed, and pretty much everything he needed off of 2 geysers, and 1 outright with Zerglings.
Yeah, it's extremely ridiculous. And Mulisks, you don't want to go Mutalisks unless you're completely safe and you know it, and you have 2 bases well secured. And then you want to harass with them. You don't want to be trying to defend with them, because they are awful at defending against ground units, especially ones that don't attack air.
Yeah, like I was mentioning before, if Toxicity had just pulled those mutas out and taking him to Ahsoka's third mineral line or his natural mineral line, he could have really reined in Ahsoka's aggression and really made him shut down and made him either transition into Hydras or go Mutalisks himself.
Yeah, he definitely could have gotten those Mutalisks out sooner because he had his lair finished for quite a while. But the real problem is when the Lings were flooding in his base, he built Mutalisks. What I would have much preferred him to build were, maybe some Banelings or probably some Roaches. I would have much preferred Roaches out
I
of that.
think Roaches probably would have been the best idea for that, just because they can, because Ahsoka
They're
had
so
such,
tanky.
yeah, they Ahsoka had so many Zerglings that building Zerglings against that many Zerglings is going to be kind of counterintuitive and not cost effective at all. But build Roaches that can take plenty of Zergling hits and still dish out the damage needed to hold it off would have been perfect. But he was just so set for going for that mute attack that he just didn't make the right mental steps to understand what needed to be done to hold that off.
Yeah, he could have, and especially when he had his Roaches. And I'm gonna back up for a moment and see when he was first attacked in the front, and he had those Roaches there. I want to see what he was doing at that time in the game. So I'm gonna fast forward a bit. You don't need to worry about it. I'm just gonna look at this.
All right.
Okay, so just keep talking a little more, and I'll get to you in a
Oh,
second.
wait, whoa. How the fuck did I not notice this? Ahsoka had two macro hatches
Yeah,
at his
you
natural.
didn't notice?
I really didn't notice that. Jesus. That just
Yeah.
completely slipped by me. I didn't even see that one closest to his ramp. I only, I guess I probably saw it. It just never clicked, but I remember saying, like, midway through the game, Ahsoka's putting up his macro hatch in his natural, and I'm guessing by that time he already had one there.
His actually when that was happening, his third was going up, and he already had the macro hatch, and then he started the second macro hatch way later on. I didn't actually spot the second one,
Good
but
God, where the
you
fuck
can,
was I?
I would always much prefer to have another expansion than a macro hatch.
Yeah,
But seeing how Toxicity was, kind of hyper aggressive early game, I can hardly blame him for it. He
yeah,
wanted to
and
just stay in his base.
yeah, and I think there could have been a little bit better placement on the macro hatch closest to his ramp. If he had put that like on the other side of these spines and in between his natural hatch, he could have put the macro hatch right there, kind of on the northern side of that ramp, and then put spine crawlers in between, so it would make a really long
Ah,
wraparound pattern for Toxicity to
yeah,
run
I see what you're
anything into
saying.
his base. I mean, he'd
Yeah,
be dealing with spines and everything else Ahsoka had for defense. I mean, just small placement ideas like that. I mean, granted, this is kind of low league, and Ahsoka still kicked some major fucking ass this game. There's just very, very small, minute details that could have been done differently.
the real thing about that though is that's more of a Protoss thing, of course. So up until about Diamond or Masters, probably Masters, you're not going to see that kind of thinking. Like only the pros ever normally think. Even the Zerg pros sometimes think about SimCity and they'll get their SimCity down. But most of the time, SimCity is just for the Protoss, and they have to figure out where they're going to put their buildings and how to be most cost effective with it, and how it's going to,
Yeah.
channel the flow, change the flow of units.
Yeah,
And
or
so, yeah, it would be really nice to see a little maze, but then again, that can hardly be expected out of a Zerg. That's not even a pro
yeah,
because
or
that's
in that higher tier of play at least.
yeah, because then they just think because then they're thinking at that point they're just thinking about everything. They're thinking about absolutely everything.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he didn't replace the macro hatch nearest the ramp, he could have also put his evolution chambers
Oh,
there as well.
yeah, definitely. The evolution chambers are really cheap and really good for
I
blocking.
mean,
But
I don't know why I said but
yeah,
I mean, with the evolution chambers, I always try to keep them in a very good blocking position. They're too cheap not to be used as a cornerstone to your defense. I
yeah,
mean, again, that creates that little maze and those spines, but I'm just kind of sitting here looking around Ahsoka's base and just looking at small details that could have been changed for future play and just for people to keep in mind when they build their stuff.
Yeah, where his spines are right now, that's actually where I tend to put my evolution chamber and where a lot of people put their evolution chamber.
Hmm.
And then he could actually just move one of those, he could move two of them up further, and then he could actually just use one and finish off that wall off.
Yeah, he could have had an evolution chamber close to the ramp, close to the hatch, and a spine right in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. But really quickly, I want you to go back and look at 16 minutes.
All right, 16 minutes, 16 minutes, going back, going back.
I want you to press play and just look at the production bar. Okay?
Okay.
Look at Toxicity's production bar. This is 16 minutes is exactly when the Zerglings come knocking on his door, and I want you to see what he's building.
Wait, you said 16 minutes, right?
Yeah, 16 minutes.
Yeah, you can see that Toxicity's building nothing but Mutalisk, and yet he's
Yeah.
still getting his
And as
missile upgrades.
Yeah, and as soon as he saw the thing that really bugs me, he sees these Zerglings coming and knocking right on his front door.
And he reacts with Mutalisks. He had the reaction time.
Let's see when they start. Okay, they started right before, but the thing is, they started right before, but he saw it coming when they started. But the thing is, he kept building afterwards. Like, even 12 seconds after it went in, he even went and built another Mutalisk.
Yeah, and he still is doing nothing with roaches, so he's wasting his resources on that +2 roach attack. Or
I mean,
plus
it was
2
a-
missile, I should say.
That block with the roaches was genius, but
But
other than that,
if he could have kept doing that, he could have held off this aggression. Oh my god, if he could have gotten more roaches, tossed in a few banelings, and maybe a few Mutalisks to catch them when they're running off, he could have easily held this and put Ahsoka on a huge downhill slide. But it's
Definitely.
just, again, it comes into the thought process of lower league.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, not to talk bad about anybody in lower leagues. Hell, I'm a low league player. I mean, I
So
haven't
am
even
I.
I haven't even started this season's ladder yet. Like, I haven't even touched it, and I'm just now starting to get into the game. But it's much easier for us to sit here and watch a replay and judge than us to actually get in there and do it the way we should.
Yeah, and I mean, I have been improving a good bit on even this sort of stuff. Like that block that he did with the roaches. Again, it was just really good. And I think after he had these Mutalisks out, he was like, "Well, fuck, what do I do now?" Because he started, he started building some banelings just right after as soon as these Zerglings were in his base. He started building some banelings. He was trying to build something to counter. But the real problem that I have is that he didn't choose roaches.
Yeah.
Roaches would have probably been the most cost-effective thing here.
Yeah, and
It would
I mean,
definitely
I don't want to say these Mutalisks are wrong. I mean, they were to an extent, but
Yeah.
he was just playing way, way too timidly with them. I mean, if Ahsoka couldn't have gone for a base trade if Mutalisks were coming at him like he did. Because Ahsoka would not be doing this kind of aggression had these Mutalisks been out at his base.
Definitely.
I mean, again, it just comes into that play with these Mutalisks. I mean, I'm sitting here at the almost 20-minute mark, and these Mutalisks are just sitting in Toxicity's base. Just doing nothing. I mean, granted, Toxicity is in absolute fucking scramble mode at the moment. And, in my eyes, he should be scrambling to get those Mutalisks on top of Ahsoka's mineral line.
Yeah, definitely. That would probably be top priority at the moment. But, Ahsoka is prepared for that, but he could have definitely tried, because he had 10 Mutalisks. That's a massive Mutaball. He can take down those Spore Crawlers one by one, which, especially at his third, look at his third. He only has 2 right there, and he has a Queen.
Yeah, I mean,
he can even swing around the back and completely just avoid those.
yeah, he could have completely negated those had he swung around this back here, and then that would have dragged the Queen into the mix. He would have gotten a Queen snipe as well as shutting down a third base. But still, overall, fairly good play from each player. Toxicity had really, really nice early game aggression. I gotta commend.
Really, really bad manner.
Yeah. Good early game aggression leads to bad manners at the end when you lose. That's just the way
Yeah.
it works, folks.
Pretty much.
But is there any other aspects you'd like to cover for this replay? I mean, I can't really think of anything
It's just how Toxicity was so all in early on in the game when he was like it looks like he was just doing some really good early aggression, but he was extremely all in. He was stuck on what about 26 workers for the longest time.
Yeah, if I let me rewind here real fast and go to I don't know, I'll step in at the let's look at the 12-minute mark here. And look at the units tab. At 12 minutes, Toxicity has 26 drones to Ahsoka's 42.
And Ahsoka even has more lings, and I believe his speed is finished. His speed is finished at this point. So at this point, Ahsoka is officially ahead.
Yeah.
Supply-wise, money-wise, economy-wise, in every way. He even has like several more overlords. You know, he doesn't have as many banelings, but you know, Toxicity finally builds some drones and gets caught up. But you know, Ahsoka has infinitely more Zerglings than him, infinitely more drones, and he
Yeah.
is in such a good situation
I mean,
right now.
he doesn't actually start to get anywhere near the drone count he needs until 12:30. And that expansion that he has, his natural, has been just sitting there doing no good for the longest time. He was far, far too committed to that early aggression. And I'm just gonna times two through this a little bit and see if his drone count goes up anymore, or if he's just running very undersaturated this
He,
entire game.
he's at 41 right now, but I think that's about as high as he gets.
Because I'm at the
Yeah,
right about 13.
41 is the highest. 41 is the peak. No, actually, it's 42, 50 even.
And then you can still see Ahsoka at the 14-minute mark, 53 drones versus Toxicity's 41. Just those 13 drones, or 12 drones. It's changing so fast I can't keep up. But either way,
Yeah, it's
you
50
can just
52 now.
yeah, you can just see how far ahead that sets Ahsoka.
But the thing is, like if you jump in at this point in the game, you're like, oh, Toxicity's doing pretty good. He's right behind him. I mean, there's a bunch of Mutalisks knocking on his front door, but he's building. There's a bunch of Zerglings, sorry, and but he's building Mutalisks. But you know, at first you're like, he's not in such a bad position. You know, he's about even on workers too. But if you rewind, Ahsoka has already collected so much more money because he had those drones that he needed way earlier on.
Yeah, and you can see the difference in supply as well. At 15-minute mark, Ahsoka is sitting on 1.1k minerals, 200 gas, and 89 supply, while Toxicity is only sitting on 500 minerals and 600 gas. I mean, Ahsoka is just so ready to blow all of his larvae on any unit that he needs at the moment, which, of course, is really only Zerglings, but still.
Yeah,
Just
that's all he needs.
Ahsoka had a great plan here.
Definitely. Ahsoka had a great build to start with, and even when it got completely interrupted and just screwed over, he found a way to stick to it and just stick straight Zerglings and just demolish them.
Yeah, he was pushed so far off track by the early aggression by Toxicity that Toxicity, I think, got a little overconfident and was like, oh yeah, sure thing, I've thrown him way off, I've got time to macro up. But no, Ahsoka was running a damn near perfect game through all that aggression.
Yeah. ZVT is a lot more like things like ZVT and ZVP are a lot more forgiving when you know do this sort of build that Toxicity is doing, but in ZVZ you have to pick something and you have to stay dedicated to it. You have to, and if you do a tech switch, you better make sure you have that tech up and you have plenty when you're completely relying on it.
Yeah, with ZVZ, because it's such a fast-paced playstyle for that matchup, that you can't flounder between what you're gonna build. It's like, pick a build, stick to it. It doesn't work, figure out where it went wrong, try it again. You can't sit there and jump between a bunch of different units and waste resources on upgrades you're not even using. And just
Yeah.
very, very little things like that can be huge game changers.
Yeah, definitely. They could just be massive game changers. So I think that's about it for this replay. I mean, Ahsoka's money started to get really high, but towards, around the 19-20 minute mark, he got it way back down. But Day 9 actually talked about this in a sort of recent daily. Whenever you don't want your money getting over 500 even. So yeah, he could have expanded a long time ago when he was at 1,200 minerals, and his fourth is going down right here at like around the 20-minute mark. But he was at such a high amount of minerals, and he even is again at the 20-minute mark. He's over 1,000. He could actually be expanding all over the place, since if there's a lack of larva, then spend it on buildings, and the only buildings you can really spend it on are spine and spore crawlers and hatcheries.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, I think that's right
Except,
about.
oh wait, except for actually the second macro hatch, he doesn't have it hotkeyed. I just noticed that. That's a minor mistake, but he has 19 larvae there, waiting to be used. Plenty of open supply and over 1,000 minerals, and he just has 19 larvae sitting there.
He's ready to react to any given situation. I mean, I'm sitting here at 1630, and Ahsoka has 93 Zerglings out against Toxicity's 10 Mutalisk. I mean, Mutalisk cannot do that much damage that fast. I mean, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that about wraps it up for this replay, and we're gonna go ahead and head up into the next pro replay here in a minute.
All right, sounds good. I really enjoyed this replay. I think this was a great demonstration of just early ladder play, and let's check out what the pros have to offer. So this has been Stress.
This has been TJHKV.
And bringing you guys another StarCraft 2 replay. Stay tuned for the next one. Take care, guys.